big old girl over at the barn today. Supposed to be getting snow tonight. So, A didn't want to sit out in the snow, B didn't want it sitting in the way trying to get the snow cleared out of the driveway. I would have got a video bringing it home last weekend, except my dumb ass found out a long time ago on that GoPro that after you let it sit with the battery inside of it, it'll drain the battery and the camera won't freaking turn on because it'll automatically connect itself to Wi-Fi for some damn reason. Why they made it do that automatically, I don't know. But when I leave it sitting, I took pull the battery out of it. Well, we went over and finished working on this thing last Sunday, and I grabbed the camera and I grabbed my mount, and I forgot to grab the battery. So, but you're getting the video of driving it today, so. reservoir back down partway, and then pull the lift arms off, and you change the seals from the outside. So, provided the lift arms are stuck on the rock shaft, should be able to do that in about an hour. Thing rides a lot better with the duals on it, I'll tell you that much. Actually really impressed how quiet this cab is. It'd be even quieter except the door seal's bad, or the door seal, I think it's actually the wrong one for the cab, which it doesn't fit right. And then one window frame has got a tweak in it, so it doesn't seal up all the way. And I think if it wasn't for that, it'd be pretty damn quiet in here. Because all the sound's coming from this side, and that's the side where the door feels bad, the window's bad a little bit, so. don't think people realize just how small this tractor really is. One of these days I'll have to get it out and put my 1955 or the 1950T next to it for a size comparison, but the wheelbase on this thing's only 152 inches long, and it's got a 10-foot turning radius. This thing will just about turn around on itself. It's actually a good thing I don't have to run the wheels out any further, because when you run it lock to lock, the tires are about 4.5, 5 inches from touching each other. But the Ford 150, this thing was designed to be a row crop four-wheel drive. And then all the brochures and stuff you see for them, you see a lot of pictures on Cultivating and stuff like that. And most of the time, in the advertising, they don't even show them with duals on them. They just show them running singles because they're meant to be a row crop tractor. And because of that, they're really, really nimble. Thing's got a 42-degree pivot to it. It'll turn 84 degrees one lock to the other and 42 degrees to either side. I've been reading a lot about these things in the last few days just to kind of see what kind of reputation they had. And there's a lot of guys talking about, oh, they were a terrible tractor because they were built so light. The 4180 was a lot better tractor. It's like, yeah, they were built light for a reason. It's because they're built to be a row crop. They were meant to. Yeah, they'll do some four-wheel drive heavy tillage, but they're meant to be a four-wheel drive row crop tractor. So they were built light and they were built nimble intentionally. Because I can pull there at the driveway at the house. If I hug one side, I can pull out in the road, turn around, and come right back in the driveway and not even really have to do a keyhole. So it'll just about turn around in the width of that chisel plow. So I don't think I'm gonna have any issues with it. There's a lot of guys talking about if four-wheel drives are great for big fields, but I had one guy talking about, he's like, I've had a bunch of experience with large four-wheel drives. I've driven the largest John Deeres and cases and all that stuff. It's like, this ain't no big 9R Deere or a 620 case. This is a little 150 horse four-wheel drive that's kind of actually a tinker toy. Oops, wrong key. It just looks big, especially with them duals on there. Well, actually, even with the duals on there, it doesn't look that big. But I got some more stuff to show you, but that's back at the house, so we'll catch you in a little bit. We're here at the house, obviously. Had to do some shuffling around. I got the duals off 1955. Got the snowblower put on a 1600 because we're going to pull the motor in the 1800 over Christmas and do the clutch because the clutch was slipping, so that's why the blower's in the 1600 instead of that. But anyway, yesterday, Dad and I ran down to a place called Roberts Equipment in Camden, Ohio, which is a big salvage yard down there, and got all this stuff. Well, almost all this stuff. That skid pan and that skid pan came from a farm down the road. The hell was that? And that chin casting, which is busted on mine, came from same farm down the road. But the manifolds and the muffler and all that crap came from that salvage yard. So we got a factory muffler for it, which the only thing we got that's wrong with it, and I know exactly why it did it, is the jack wagons must have wanted a bigger pipe on it. So instead of getting a step-up pipe or something, they just got a big-ass pipe, stuffed it all the way down over the muffler and welded it. And I guarantee you this sat full of water down here and rusted that. So, but we should be able to just whack that off, weld another piece of pipe on it, and should be good to go. Got that. Got the brackets that got cut off or torched off of mine. And those are what the muffler sets on. Got a center link for it, which is a Cat 2 center link, and the reason I went with a Cat 2 center link is because I looked and looked and looked and looked, and come to find out they never did use a Cat 3 center link on them 4150s. The still uses a 1-inch pin down on the back of the tractor, and the only thing they did, looking in the parts book, because the parts book calls for, well, it calls for the center link. It's on the back of mine. Mine doesn't have this style. It's just the style with the push button, but I like that style better. This is actually a little older, but it'll work. But anyway, the parts numbers for in the white 150 book give all the same part numbers as a Cat 2 top link in an Oliver book. The only thing that's different is they put a Cat 3 hitch ball up here, which all they did was they took a Cat 2 hitch ball, punched a bigger hole in it. So, and this is a little stiff, but I have to pull it apart and free it up. But he did give the hitch ball, and it's got a good pin with it, so got that. And then these were the main thing we were after, is these manifolds. These are the updated manifolds for that 3208, and here's we've been able to figure out they came out on either the late 4180s or the 4210s. We know they were on the 4210s, but we're pretty sure that they were on the late 4180s. And basically, where on mine, this will be the back of the motor, and on the ones that are on it right now, the manifold comes forward and dumps down. And then what they did was they ran the pipes down along inside the frame, and then back up around over the bell housing, and then the muffler sat back over the bell housing. And what they found was that put a lot of heat on the oil pan, and they had issues with overheating the oil. Plus, it was a shit ton of pipe for absolutely no reason, because it went down, back up, and basically came out right here. So these are just a straight shot muffler, dump straight back, then the pipes come back and go up into the muffler instead of going down alongside the oil pan and all that crap. So we got the manifolds, all the pipe, and the muffler and the brackets, because he considered all that part of the exhaust. We got that for $450, and before we bought it, Dad called down to Mayball to price everything out through AGCO to just buy it new.
And to even buy it through AGCO, you get cap manifolds, and manifolds for it were $600 brand new for a pair. And then for the muffler and the pipes through AGCO was $1,900. So almost $3,000 to put an exhaust on it, all new. Or these manifolds don't appear to have a whole lot of use on them because they're still black paint. And yeah, I got all that for $450, and all we really got to do is fix that pipe on the muffler, and it's good to go. And we ended up finding this thing. Dad was looking at parts on eBay, and this ad for a 3208 core motor came up, and when he clicked it, it came up to this salvage yard, and there was a picture of a 4150 in it. And they were parting a tractor out, and it had all this stuff on it. So Dad called down there, and we ended up getting all this stuff. And I got the a sway block for it. And then I also got, these are the straps that, and he threw these in for free because a couple of them were broke, but those are the straps that hold the insulation panel up against the back of the fuel tank, or up against the front of the fuel tank. And then got that air cleaner because mine is rusted out. Mine's rusted out right here, and this one's rusted out right here, but this one should be easy to fix because we should just have to pop this off of my air cleaner and weld it on this air cleaner, hopefully. Plus this one's still got the hopefully it's turning. This one's still got a good hole, or piece that holds the air cleaner in the housing with a knob on it. Mine's missing the knob. So got that stuff. Actually, the really important piece is up in the garage because we didn't want to put it down here and have a chance of hurting it. I'll show you that in a minute. But this is a good chin casting. I was originally thinking about taking the lights off of it because that's not where they belong, but I got to thinking about it, and those will actually be kind of a handy place to have a pair of lights, so I think I'm actually going to leave them on there. But, and then that's the skid pan that goes, that should be the front skid pan, and then that's the rear skid pan for it. So, and this should be the cutout where the oil filters are, so you don't got to take the skid pan off to change the oil in it. So yeah, got that, all the pipes, the manifolds, all the brackets, that sway block, that center link, and the piece that's up in the garage. Got all that for $900. I don't think I did too terrible. All that stuff for less than what it would have cost to put a brand new exhaust system on it. So, eh. And while I'm thinking about it, on the way down there, we were heading east on I-70 towards Ohio, and we were coming up on, it would either have been State Road or County Road 3. I'm not too familiar with that area, but it was still in Indiana. We were probably about 2.5, 3 miles from State Road or County Road 3, whatever the heck it is. And I was gawking at all the farms and stuff around, and I looked off to the south, and there was a little there was a pasture, a little farm, and there was two, I wouldn't even call them barns. They looked like a bunch of telephone poles somebody drove in the ground and put tin roofs over them, and one of them was falling apart. But about 300-400 yards back off the road, there was a combine and moldboard plow sitting out in the pasture. At first I didn't think nothing of it because it looked kind of like a John Deere 6600 or something, offset cab and all that. And I looked back, or kind of did a little bit of a double take, and right as I swung my head back around, I noticed there was a white stripe underneath the cab. And that can only mean one thing, is it was an Oliver. So it was either a 7600 or a 7800, as big as it looked. And that'd be a weird area to find a 7800, but because that was a pretty good sized machine. But just for as far away as it was and as big as it looked, there's a slight chance it was a 7800. But Unfortunately, we came home a different way than we went down. We didn't get to go past it again to get a better look at it. So if there's anybody that watches my channel that's from down around that area and feels like taking a Sunday drive one of these weekends, eastbound on I-70 coming up to Interstate 3, south side of the road, somewhere or sitting in a pasture, probably, let's just say within 5 miles of that interchange, there's an Oliver combine sitting in a pasture, and I'd kind of like to know what it is. But anyway, more parts. And this was the amazing find because they're few and far between. Is this right here. That is an almost perfect grill for it. And the only reason it's almost perfect instead of perfect is there's a doink in it right here that's pushed in a little bit, but that won't be hard to push back. And I mean, this thing is solid. Still got black paint on it. A little bit of rust right in here, but this thing is immaculate. And they're hard to find, especially with the center stripe still in them. They dinged me $200 for that, but as hard as they are to find in good condition, I didn't even hesitate. I said, you give it to me. But that's up here because we didn't want it getting hurt. And the last thing I got, we got to take a walk up here. This also came from the farm down the road, because I didn't give him anything else. Grandma and Grandpa bought that chin casting and this up here for me for Christmas because they were getting mad that I wouldn't tell them what I wanted, and I told them tractor parts. I'm actually kind of ticked. I was hoping to finish up chopping stalks today, and I said it wasn't supposed to start snowing until after 4 o'clock. And it started snowing about 1 o'clock. So got the white put away and hurried up, came over here because it was snowing by that point. Got the duals off at 19, got all that stuff put away, got the snowblower put on the 1600, and yep. This is the other piece I got for it. This is a cab. It came off of another 4150. The farm down the road parted out. And the interior is actually worse than mine. The seat's wrong and the floor's bad. And the dash has been hacked up a little bit and all the guts for everything's missing, but the shell on this one is almost perfect. All the spots are rusted out on mine, this one's perfectly fine. And all the glass in it's good, so the only thing wrong with it is that window frame's bent, but it's good on mine. So basically what I'll do is use this one as the tear it apart and start blasting it and fixing it up cab, and then as needed pull the guts out of mine and makes this one a good cab, and then just when it comes time pull my cab all the way off and just set this one on and plug everything in, and away you go. Because that's the nice thing about the way they design these, is the only thing holding the cab on is 4 bolts. You unhook the 3 cables for the hydraulics, unhook the hoses from the power steering motor, and unplug the wiring harness. Just plugs into the front of the cab. Whole thing comes off as one unit. But yeah, so, but I don't know when I'm gonna. The door handle on this one's actually better, or the door latch on this one's in better shape than mine. It's just the outside handle's busted, so I'll put my handle on it. Should be good. Need to cap them lines off. I forgot about that. But yeah, that's all the stuff we got accumulated for it. Like I say, this one that's all solid right here. Mine's all full of Bondo. So I need to straighten that out, because on mine, on the other side, the light flare is not even, it's some homemade thing. They must have somehow ripped it off at some point. But this cab's in really, this metal wise is in really good shape other than the floor. So, and all the interior parts on my cab are immaculate. So between that one and this one, should be able to make one good cab out of it. But anyway, I guess our winter wonderland has finally arrived. So I think I'm going to call it good for the day and just not do a whole lot more, because this isn't really the weather that makes you want to go out and do big things. So I guess that does it for this one. We'll catch you guys on the next one.